Good morning, YouTubers. I want to talk to you this morning while everyone in my house is still asleep about something that's very important. As the northern hemisphere goes into winter, we get less and less of a vitamin that we've been playing in the sun so long as a species that our skin actually learned to make this vitamin. It's vitamin D. Now, you may have heard a little bit about this in the media or maybe from your doctor, but I doubt it. But vitamin D is one of the most important substances that you can put into your body. It's one of the most important vitamins slash pro-hormones that you can take for your health and for longevity. Now, a lot of doctors don't know anything about vitamin D. A decade ago, I didn't know anything about it, and I heard a podcast, and the guy said, vitamin D is a big deal, and everybody's deficient in it. And I thought, well, that's silly. I'm going to check a few patients and see if that's true. And sure enough, out of the 100 or so patients I checked, way over half were deficient in vitamin D. They had levels in the teens or 20s, and I was blown away. I was thinking, why haven't I heard about this in medical school? Why haven't I heard about this in my medical journals at the medical conferences I go to often? Why have I not heard about this? And I still don't know the answer to that. But I'm here to tell you today, you need to hear about it, and you need to know it's important for your health. Whether your doctor thinks it's a big deal or not, it is. And I want you to do something about it. Now, before we go any further, please just click the subscribe button below. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure and follow the page. It's very important that you understand the medical concepts that I'm teaching you. It's very important that your friends and family understand, so please share this message. Okay, so vitamin D is not just a vitamin. It's also a or a pre-hormone. A lot of doctors don't know a lot about vitamin D. It confuses them. And anytime a doctor gets confused or he doesn't know what you're talking about, that makes him very uncomfortable. And most of the time when doctors get uncomfortable, they get upset. And so if you're talking about vitamin D with your doctor and he starts to get upset, that means he doesn't know about it. And so your choice at that point is to either educate your doctor and help him along or just find a new doctor. Vitamin D is a huge deal for weight loss. If your vitamin D is super low, you're going to find it so much harder to lose meaningful amounts of weight and keep it off. It's just a fact. It's an anti-cancer pro-hormone. It's an antimicrobial. It helps fight infections. I have many patients who don't want to get the flu shot. And I don't advise them not to get it. They just don't want to get it. And so I have found over the years of practice that my patients who take enough vitamin D just don't get the flu. And so they're happy not to take the flu shot because their vitamin D levels are so high that the flu virus finds them not appetizing at all and stays away. This vitamin D is also a pro-hormone or a pre-hormone, which means it's in charge of hundreds of biochemical reactions in your body. Reactions that lead to the formation of different hormones like the sex hormones, like the adrenal hormones, just don't happen as readily without vitamin D. Now, what kind of vitamin D should you take? There's two major kinds. There's vitamin D3, which is the one that I recommend exclusively that you take. It's over the counter. And then there's also vitamin D2, which if you talk to many doctors and specialists, that's the one they'll recommend. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Vitamin D3 is the most absorbable form of vitamin D that you can take. You want to take it in a gel cap. You don't want to take a dry, chalky tablet. The reason you want it in a gel cap is because when you take vitamin D with oil, it's much more readily absorbed. So I also recommend my patients take their vitamin D gel cap with a teaspoon or tablespoon of avocado oil, olive oil, bacon grease if you like that. But you need to take it with oil. You absorb much more of it when you do that. And also you need more good oil in your diet anyway. Do not take it with canola or any kind of shortening or any kind of vegetable oil. Those oils are not good for you. Those are not healthy fats. Don't use those. Use a healthy fat like coconut, avocado, or some animal fat. Now, should you measure your vitamin D if you're going to be taking this? Because I'll tell you, I recommend to my patients to take anywhere from 2,000 international units to 10,000 international units a day, every day. And if they're going to be out in the sun a lot during the summer, they may take less than that. But almost all my patients take around 5,000 international units a day. I check their blood levels anywhere from 4 times a year to once a year. And out of the thousands of patients I have who take vitamin D3, I find 1 or 2 a year whose level is above 100. Now, the lab value that you're looking for is somewhere between 30 and 100 as being normal. I try to get all of my patients to be somewhere between 50 and 90. That's optimal. That's when you're going to start getting the antimicrobial, the anti-flu, the antiviral, and the anti-cancer effects, is when you're above 50. A lot of people worry about vitamin D overdose. Let me tell you, I've studied this topic in depth, and it's a myth. See, vitamin D is one of the fat-soluble vitamins, so a lot of doctors think that you're going to build up toxic levels in your blood if you take vitamin D every day. Or you might build up toxic levels in your fat, is what they would say. This is not true at all. I have checked thousands and thousands of vitamin D levels, and out of the thousands of patients I have who take vitamin D every day, I have 1 or 2 a year whose level is above 100. And so we just back up their vitamin D 20-25%, and they keep right on going. And I have never had a bad outcome or a terrible side effect. If you Google this, you'll see quickly that there's just no research that backs up this vitamin D toxicity or vitamin D overdose. It's a myth. It's a lie that some doctors tell because they don't know better. So you're going to check your vitamin D level, and if your doctor refuses to check your vitamin D level, that should be a huge red flag that maybe you've got some educating to do for your doctor, or maybe you need to find a new doctor. So check your vitamin D level once or twice a year. You can do this with the online lab testing if your doctor just refuses and you can't find a doctor. These days, most doctors will check your vitamin D. Now, you want to make sure they check a vitamin D 25, not a vitamin D 125. The vitamin D 125 test is actually a kidney test. That doesn't really give you any useful information about your vitamin D level in your blood. You want to check a vitamin D 25. That's what you want. And if your doctor doesn't know that, that's another big red flag that he has not been doing his research and staying up to date. So vitamin D, in a nutshell, you need it every day in some form, whether from the sun, if you live near the equator, or if you live up in the northern or southern latitudes, you're going to have to take a gel cap every day to get the amount of vitamin D. There's just no vitamin D in the American diet anymore. I tell people you'd have to drink 10 gallons of milk a day to get the amount of vitamin D that you need. And if you did that, you would be so fat you wouldn't be able to fit through my front door to come see me at the clinic. So please don't think that you can get your vitamin D from dairy. You cannot. You need a gel cap. Until our food culture and our food industry changes, you just can't get it from food or drink. So please, if you enjoyed this video, I have many other videos down below that you can watch that will help you with your health. Please subscribe and share this with a friend. This is Dr. Berry, and I'll see you next time.